G'day guys, here's our 2019 Christmas light display, our sort of behind the scenes walkthrough. If you'd like to just give you a quick look at our props during the daytime. I'm going to try and not waffle on too much. I've got a little bit to discuss this year. I'm not going to focus too much on our build. Just quickly touch on the little extension we made next door, which is pretty exciting. We'll get onto that one in a bit.
So come look at my house and check out the front yard. The lights are time to music.
So with our display, what we've included this year, some changes some might notice. We've got probably one of the big ones is this big snowflake tree, which we've included in the center of our display this year. So that's, I did have as you might probably see, there was an existing tree that used to block some of my display. Option was chop it down, don't think so. Or build in front of it, so that's what we did. Another option change that we've done this year, just as the car's coming past. We had our mini trees last year along the fence line. This year we've actually moved them front and center, and you can probably see these ones are actually across our driveway, and I'll talk about them in a minute. But yeah, apart from that, more cars. Apart from that, everything is pretty well the same. Exactly the same as what we was using last year. As probably some will know, we're all WS2811 pixel nodes and all 12 volt. What we've included next door, this was a bit of a last minute build. They decided basically in the first week of November, now we're in the first week or so of December, that they wanted to be sort of included a little bit in our display. So it is all linked up. So we basically made it out of bits and pieces which I had spare, bar the Merry Christmas sign, which I already had planned for them. So they've got 4 air cedar arches, a roof outline, some snowflakes, a couple of floodlights, etc. We'll talk about that one after we've finished walking through ours. So walking up to our display, pretty common. We've got a tune 2 sign there, which is some P10 panels. We've got our air cedar arches up the front. So this is just a Coro daytime board I have, which just sort of slots in with our P10 panels under there. So if anyone's driving past can see all the craziness and know what time our display's on. So I'm going to start at the front, probably make our way back. So we've got our air cedar arches. Now they've got pixel nodes in them, unlike some people use strip. Now they're just held down with some pavers, nothing fancy there. The next sort of main prop behind there, we have our Boscoyo mini canes. They've been knocked out of order a bit from the winds. Talking about winds, I'll try and edit a video.
So guys, this is just a quick snapshot of a video I took when it was really windy. We hit some gusts which was hitting 100 kilometers an hour, 100 kilometers per hour. Now I laid some of my props down as I knew this wind was coming. You can probably see on my mega tree, I actually lowered it. One of the benefits of having a mega tree, you can upper and lower. Wow, you can sort of see what's going on, how these trees have sort of been blown around. This wasn't the worst of the winds, I'll tell you, that we got. I'm pretty happy the way our props held up. You sort of see how it's beatering our poor little candy canes. Snowflake tree, you probably see the chroma flakes just twisted around a little bit. Just as the wind was hitting them, but I'm pretty happy the way everything held up. See you guys.
So hopefully I got that video edited in all right, and you can probably see what we've done as part of our, you'll see our display held up okay. So we've got our mini trees, beside that we've got our flake tree, which you can see all our extreme lighting designs by Troy, which got licensed under Boscoyo. Snowflakes mounted on very similar to a mega tree setup. I've done a separate video on this one with some great details. If you're interested in it, maybe check it out. Now that's anchored down a bit like Walter Monkhouse sort of style, with a base with some guide wires at the back. That held up pretty well. Next thing I noticed, which I talked about, I moved our Boscoyo mini trees from along the fence line in between those snowflakes up in front and centre, which has been really effective. But that poses a bit of a difficulty, is it's blocking my driveway off. So this was my solution, quick and easy. I made a big timber frame and I've just tapped in lightly, might be a bit tricky to see, a little bit of a steel bar into the soft ground there, and this will act as like a pivot point. Very highly technical here. We have got a pillowcase full of sand for a sandbag that can holds him down. We've got a bit of a handle. We can sort of pick our frame up, and one-handed, if we can, this is a bit tricky, we can fold him back up against the fence. And they sort of fit in between the snowflakes fairly well. So that then, you know, leaves our driveway nice and free during the day. Talking about our flakes on the fence, another little change I made is I made some little standoffs. Last year I had them mounted, I'll probably show you up here. So this one hard up against the fence, and when you was viewing the display, they sort of got, you couldn't see them really well. So I've angled them so they really face where our viewing people are over there. Just some conduit frames, cobble tied on. They seem to be holding up really well. I've just put a little bit of a string on there, you know, to stop them pivoting around too much. So that was quick and easy and really successful. Just another one more along the fence here, just part of our outline. We've just got some Boscoyo strip with some pixels in it. Cable tied on, and I'll just have some of those 12-volt cheap floodlights, you know, to fill some of those gaps in. So that's what's happening on every fence. These are my homemade spiral trees, which have got bullet pixels, cable tied to some building strap. I made these a couple of years last year on some tomato frames. These things are a good height, they're about 1.6 metres high to the top of the Boscoyo stars on top. Don't laugh at my base. Method of holding them down, milk bottles. Seems to be working. Talking about holding things down, my candy canes, they've just got a little bracket. I made up some brackets, and that's just sort of pushed in to the ground. You can sort of see there's a bit of a hook on the ground, which sort of opens up like a fork, so it stops them twisting around. What else we've got going on? Last year's, this is exactly the same. I've got a house outline, a conduit with holes drilled in it for the pixels. It's one of our wall trees, which is like a small flat mega tree. I think it's 42 up, 42 down from memory. I think there's 12 across, and a Boscoyo star on top. They're Boscoyo snowflakes. I did have a star last year mounted up the top there, but this pesky tree was blocking it, so he got moved up on top of the snowflake tree. Across here we've got our mini trees. Again, I've got these on a timber frame just to help move it set up a little bit quicker. They just held down a couple of pavers again and sort of walked them out, plonked them down. The fence line, almost identical to the other side. And then we've got our mega tree. We'll sort of look up him. Again, it's basically the same specs as last year. It is the same specs. 85. Oh, out of focus with my finger. So that's 85 12-volt pixel nodes up on each strand. And we have 30 of them. It's a 180-degree tree. Then I've got my homemade star on top, which is 170 nodes. Now the bit of a change I made this year. Last year I had the star permanently mounted up on top of the tree. This year I've made it so it goes up and down with a header, which is winched up and down. So we've got the pole at the back. Just trying to go around here so you can see what's going on. I'm not going to go too much details because I did another video on this last year. So we've got our winch. The winch cable goes up to a pulley up to the top, which moves the header up with all the strips attached to it, so it makes it nice and easy to set up. And I've got some gold wires also holding it down. Now a little bit of a change I did this year was how I've done the base for the mega tree. Last year I used star pickets into the ground, which bolted through to another base I had. This year I've tried to make a little bit of adjustable, because I'm back up here, about falling over, duck down. My ground, might be able to see, it sort of slopes away a bit. So I want to be able to adjust my base ring so it's nice and level, so it keeps the strips nice and even as well. So what these are what I'm referring to as little ground anchors. This one here might be a bit better view. So they spiral into the ground, and they've got a nut which I welded on the bottom side, which has got a bolt into here, and then I've made these adjustable stirrups. I'll see this one a little bit better, with a bit of angle at the top, which is just held on by like a U-bolt on the top. Now I've made these all out of scrap bar, a bit of threaded rod. So what I'm actually hoping is the ones closer to the garden bed, and even these ones, the lawnmower will actually go over the top, so I might be able to leave them in. Probably won't, because I'm a little bit worried about them rusting out, but we'll see. This made I could actually set it up a little bit. That was my setup, because I could come out and put these out, a couple of weeks before December, and just trying to make our mega tree setup a little bit quicker, because it is, as everyone knows, it is one of the most time-consuming props, I think, to put up, because it has to be safe, it has to be strong. Hopefully you watched that other bit of a video where I talked about the winds. Actually, it was good having it so I could wind it up, wind it down. I dropped it, tied it up during that nasty wind we had. I think it was up to about 100km/h winds we got. Everything else made the same. I've touched on in my previous videos. Our house outline, that's got, where are they? I'll have to jump up in. A bit hard to see. They're just a brick clip, which is cable tied onto the conduit. Now these have been up since our Halloween display. Our Flakes, these brick clips, which I actually left on the house during the off season, they don't screw them, they just clip over, and that's just got a cable tie and cable tie. Same as the one up there. Our snowplow wall trees, just a timber frame which sort of wedges in under the edge there. I just tap a little star picket in there and put a ratchet strap. They're holding up really well. Nice and quick and easy to set up. So that's essentially our props for this side. We will duck over, have a look at next doors, because this is all brand new. As I said, we started building this first week of November. We got it done. I did have the Merry Christmas one pre-built, because I was just going to set this up for them next door as like a standalone prop. But we are linking our house with their house, so probably see some very similar themes. We have our air seeder arches, 50 nodes, drilled into some air seeder hose. I did make the bases a little bit different. It's actually got a little bit of a conduit running across. Again, I'm just using a paver. I hold these things down. Seems to be really well. The Extreme Lighting Designs, or under license from Boscoyo, their Merry Christmas sign. Now this thing, I was a little bit, how's it going to look? But I'm really happy the way it turns out with some of the effects that you can whack on this. What I've done for this, again, this is all 12 volt WS2811 pixels. What I did when we made it quickly is use some 20mm conduit, and we sort of broke it down into little sections. We'll sort of start at the M here. So you get your M, E, R, and it's got a little joiner. It's got no glue or anything, so you can sort of pull it apart, and they're just cable tied in. Now it is, you've got to be careful to sort of dodge the pixel node. So if Boscoyo is listening out there, can you just put an even gap so we can paint these things up a bit easier? Now the bottoms are great because they do actually have a bit of a clear section, but it takes, you've got to go a little bit wonky to dodge through the holes for the pixels. So anyway, so yeah, we've got, again, we've got CH R on a joiner, so that's going to help hopefully with our storage. We can sort of pack it all up. Now this was really quick setup, guys. A couple of star droppers, a couple laying it back, a bit of a timber stake because we started running out of steel with star droppers. It's just cable tied to it. It's holding up. Down and dirty, I suppose. I said this was a super quick build. What other props have they got going on? We'll talk about the mega tree in a bit because I'm really happy with this technique. Now for their house outline, we've just got obviously a little bit more than ours. Oh, stop finger going out of focus. We've got up around our walls, because I built a lot of this out of spares we had. That's using chroma trim, the same as the roof outline and the gutters. So I've got to actually give a big shout out to Troy from Extreme Light Designs. He managed to get us some chroma trim packaged up and sent down within like a couple of days of me giving him a quick call, say, look, hey, we're doing this, can you help out? Like, obviously paid for it, express postage, but he managed to really sort us out with that. So how are these things mounted? Like, neighbours decided they wanted to paint their chroma trim to make a blend in the house, and it actually came out really well. And that's just got some 25mm conduit on the back. Now obviously this is 3-inch spacing. That was a couple of factors for that. One was resources, and the pixels we had, and it would have matched what I'd done for our display next door. So what have they got going on? How are we mounting these onto the brick clip? Probably starting to see a common theme here, but we actually used a conduit clips on these ones, and he's just screwed through, drilled a hole and screwed through. Probably the reasons for that is just to get the wires a little bit off the bricks. Now, you know, it's for our around there. So what else have we got going on? I'm trying to get it so we're not in the sun, so I can show you on our gutter. I'll try and zoom up. So that's painted to match his gutter. We 3D printed some little gutter clips. I don't know if we can actually get over here to show you. I'll go up here, zoom in. So that's like a little 3D printed gutter clip. There's just clips in the top, and then I actually screwed and utilised some conduit clips. Just because it's probably easier and quicker. Oh, shaking camera, sorry guys. So that's what's utilised to hold the gutters on. Pixels around the gutter. Our actual roof outline might be a bit. Sorry. We 3D printed some little clips that were clipping under, like the sort of fascia capping, capping on the on the roof line. There's a couple of bulges there. So we got hit with the winds. We haven't really had a chance to tidy things up yet. So they seem to be holding up really well. Oh, zoom out. So we've got our snowflakes. What he's done is just siliconed a little conduit clip onto there. They're held flat. Probably next year we would actually like to stand them up a little bit if we use the same. But this was built as fast as we could, and I had some spare snowflakes, so we just utilising them. Again, how are we mounting these on the wall? We have conduit clip. Now we've only put one up on the top on these ones. That's going to be alright. Okay, so that's essentially. Oh, yeah, we've just got a couple of little floodlights. Nothing special. So that is essentially what we have got going on over there. So that's a bit of the walk around of the props. I will quickly just do another video because I've just realised this has turned into a 20-minute video. Sorry guys, me waffling on. I'll start another one and we'll talk about some of the controllers. Okay, oh, Megatree. I didn't talk about the Megatree. Guys, this continuation of our behind the scenes Christmas light display video. Now this is the little Megatree we built for next door. Again, this is built really quickly. So what are we utilising? Some quick specs. They're 50 nodes up, 50 nodes down. 24 strands and a little Boscoyo star. I do want to actually put some longer star pickets at the bottom and move that base ring up a bit, just to blaze him up a bit higher if we get to him. Again, 12 volt WS2811 pixels. I'm actually quite happy the way this has turned out. So we're using that sort of portable hole design. We don't actually have any straps at the front. I know everyone's got to say we're going to do it, but we haven't. Star dropper, held it down. We've had to put a little block of wood on to sort of level it up. Now this is about a 30mm really heavy wall pipe because that's what we had. We have a winch, a bit of a winch plate, which clamps on with clamps. That goes up to a cable. Probably won't be able to see. We have a pulley which raises and lowers our header. Nice and simple, works, effective. We could drop it if we need to. None of this expanding poles business. And the star's just cable tied on. So that's what we've got going on there. And we've just used some ratchet straps to hold it back onto the fence because I said this was a quick build. But it held up to those winds really well. which I showed you in those other video. At the front, this is actually the base ring for my tree last year. So when I say we actually built it in a couple of weeks, probably telling a bit of a, not a furphy, but just we did have some props. Wasn't planned, so we've started dropping them in like I used last year. They're just bolted through again, whatnot. So how are we controlling this? We've got an F16 FV3. Now I normally have this locked up. Now this was a box I built up for something else and didn't end up using, so it's got a bucket load more happening on, which really needs. A couple of power supplies. Got our Falcon board, power distribution board if we need it. Pretty common setup, I think. It's got a fan in it, really important here in Australia to get some ventilation through our boxes because it is sunny. Yeah, and I just, like most of you, use chain wired back to the base, and it keeps, probably more importantly, little sticky fingers out of it. And probably someone trying to pinch it. So that's the mega tree. Duck around this way, around the real tree. Oh, bad photo. Of quick and dirty look of a quickly built mega tree. Oh, obviously they're Boscoyo strips. Just the standard strips. Nothing special about them. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Bye.